Okay, guys, this is part two of my video series about collecting data and plotting it on Google Sheets. And we're just going to continue on with our data set. So we talked about that the time values are going to be our independent variable, and the position values are going to be our dependent variable, and they're the average of these data that I've collected, right? So what I know from what we've covered in science so far is that the dependent variable always goes in the vertical axis and the independent variable goes in the horizontal axis. So when we want to insert a graph or do a graph, we follow this. So we go to the insert, select chart, and at times it selects information for us and it's not always completely right. It's important that we modify it and not depend on what's given to us. All right, the chart that we're going to be using is not a line graph or a column graph. What we really need to be using is a scatter plot, okay? And what we need to do now is select our axis and the information or values that are going to be put into the different axes. So this editing tool, the chart editor, should come up every time you click on this graph or this blank graph, and you should be able to edit it from there. So the first thing that we want to do is choose our horizontal value, our X values. So how we do that is we actually click on this grid, which tells us what grid we want to consider, which values we want to consider. So we click on that. This opens up, and we can move this text box around. And on the horizontal, we want our time. So we just click from the first horizontal and scroll down to the last one that we want, and we just click OK. It's already considered that. Now for our vertical values, we actually have to add a series. All right, so again, we click on our text box and we want to consider our dependent variable, our position. So we click OK, and now that's graphed a graph for us. Now, this graph is good, but it doesn't have the conventions that we need. We need it to have a title. We need to have the axis values considered, the axis title, and we might even put a line of best fit. So we go to customize, and we want to play around with the axis. We don't care about the horizontal axis title yet. We just want the chart title. So chart title is going to be a position versus time. Now we want to put a horizontal axis, horizontal axis name, and that's going to be time, and that's going to be values in seconds. Don't forget to put your units. We need to do our vertical ones, so that's going to be position, and that's going to be in meters. Okay, so we got all that done. The last thing we don't have to do in class, but it'd be nice to give you guys a bit of a heads up about this, is if you scroll down under series, you can talk about what the data resembles. And we get that by finding out its trend line. So you can see this is, I guess what people would say a line of best fit. It's not really a line of best fit, so it's how it describes the data and how it's moving or how it's behaving. So you can play around with these. You can see that because this straight line doesn't fit, there must be some other relationship between the variables. You see that the polynomial fits perfectly. This R squared value, it tells us that there is a 100% relationship between this polynomial relationship and the data that we collected. And we don't need to do this for our investigation, but it's just something that I tell you guys about right now, so in the future you're aware of it.